Now you can be like one of them
Trooper transform!
when you go to McDonald's for one of these. With a VR Trooper Happy Meal, you get a transformation pendant or this wrist spinner. One toy with each Happy Meal you buy.
Trooper transform!
Hey, do we know him?
Lazor Comb.
We are not going to panic.
What the heck even happened to you, man?
Vengeance. Shrimp Daddy! Ha 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 ha!
Give him a hockey stick!
What am I, fucking magician, man?
Am I some kind of fucking magician, man?
Fucking nerd.
Big nerd! Whatever. It's not like we're professionals anyway.
And I'm not sorry anymore.
Time to bake brain.
Every day, yes.
What is the airwolf of trains?
Greetings, virtual reality troopers. Welcome to episode 112 of the Lazor Comb podcast, the show where we comb through random episodes of classic TV with a fine-tooth laser. I am, as always, Christopher Siege, one of your hosts.
And I'm your other host, NeoCal.
And this week on the Lazor Comb podcast, we are continuing on with a theme that we didn't really plan, but we've kind of fallen into, which is reviewing Power Ranger type shows from the 90s.
Yeah, so the idea being, there's a genre name for it that I don't remember, but Power Ranger types. Basically, people that, teenagers with attitudes or kids with attitude that, they get their powers from an alien or a wizard or something, and
Tokusatsu.
Tokusatsu. There we go.
That's the name of the genre.
Yeah, and we were reminded of that by our Discord, and that's what we're doing. It rolls off the tongue.
Tokusatsu. So we started this off with tattooed teenage alien fighters. Tattooed teenage alien fighters from Beverly Hills. And last week we did Big Bad Beetleborgs. And this week on the Lazor Comb podcast, we are VR.
Countdown control. 4, 3, 2, 1.
We're reviewing VR Troopers.
VR Troopers.
We put it through the old random number generator and landed on episode 44, The Couch Potato Kid, which originally aired on February 9th, 1995. Just over 30 years ago now.
Wow. Who would have thought?
Certainly not I. Now, I never really watched VR Troopers. I was aware of it. I was aware of it as a kid, and I knew the theme song. Because I think it was on after something that I did watch. I think I never watched VR Troopers because there was something else on at the same time that I liked.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Cal, what in the ever-loving hell is VR Troopers?
All right, so we got, how sometimes there's 3 or 4 or 5 of these like powerful people. Well, there's 3 from what I can tell.
Yeah.
And
a talking dog.
And does he talk?
The dog talks.
Boy oh boy, let me tell you, the effects for the dog are so shockingly bad that you can't help but actually love it. Like whenever the dog would like talk, right? Yeah. What would happen is they just get like the dog mid yawn and then like rewind and like forward it again. So it would be like, look out, guys, the bad guys coming, and or something like that. And I'm like, I actually laughed out loud, and I'm like, holy fuck, that looks bad. Like, oh, and when he blows a raspberry to like the rich nerd kid at the end of the episode, but they get the dog licking and they just freeze frame. They just pause with the dog's tongue out and make a sound. And I'm like, fuck, man, you guys really didn't have absolutely like any budget outside of like the outfits, huh?
Speaking of the rich dweeb that's in the show, I'm starting to notice like a bit of a trend with these tokusatsu shows in that there's always like the kids or like the whoever like the like superpowered individuals are. Here they're more like young adults in this show, but not kids or teenager, or maybe late teens, early 20s, somewhere around there.
Like that. Young adults, yeah.
Yeah. They always like in these shows the human like when the superpowered individuals, when they're in their like day-to-day human life, they always have some kind of adversary. Now, typically they've been in other shows of this ilk, they've been portrayed as being like bullies.
Yeah.
Whereas like the adversary in this show just seems to be an absolute like dweeb.
It seems to be a rich kid who is a know-it-all.
Yeah.
And as far as I can tell, they're bullying him.
Yeah, that was kind of the impression that I got. I was like, wait a minute.
Because what is it? They come up with, oh man, they're cutting a lot of corners on this show. The writing is fast and loose, but like same thing with like Power Rangers. If you go back and like listen to any dialogue, it's like I'd rather be shopping, like kind of levels of writing, right? And they're like, oh, we're gonna make an obstacle course, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna take like weeks and like thousands of dollars or whatever, but they do it in a day because like whatever, and we'll donate the proceeds to charity and like all of these other things. Yeah, it'll get people like active. So hearing this, the dweeb, the rich kid, the kind of like harmless school rival, these shows tend to have, but instead of it being like like a fat and a skinny like bully coming in, it's a rich kid. Yeah, he should have his own little theme song. It's
that Balkan Skull
Dexter
theme,
rich,
so iconic.
It's a rich kid like who always gets his way, I guess. And they trick him into agreeing to kind of like do the obstacle course because they were like, oh, if you're not competitive, well, if you don't think you can do it, like that's fine.
He's like, actually, I personally invented the obstacle course.
And actually, I will beat all of your records. And he goes and he stands up on a desk. And like a teacher or something's like, okay, get down from there. And then he starts like jumping from like, because it's this big like library area. He jumps from like desk to desk. And the stupidest fucking like wipeout scene ever where he like accidentally lands on a chair. But then there's this like scene where he's like, whoa, whoa, and then it cuts to his feet, like on the chair, and then back to his face. And he's like, whoa. And everyone's like, and then inevitably there's like the crashing bowling ball sound, and he like flies across a desk like a stunt actor, just kind of like nonchalantly like falls over on the desk. And they're like, ooh. I'm like, oh man, it's always fun when bullies and rich kids eat shit in these shows, huh?
Womp, womp, womp.
So we don't see him until the very end. We see the true villain, Elon Musk. I like that the villain isn't a wizard from the moon, right? or anything like that, or comic book like Aliens. It's a billionaire CEO who just hates kids.
Uh, and I actually, in doing some Googling, like you on Discord had compared the villain of the show to Elon Musk, and you're not the first person to do that, from what I've seen.
No?
No.
Okay.
I saw a like Screen Rant article that was like it was like top 10 ways that like VR Troopers parallels real life or something like that, and it had a picture of Elon Musk next to the like
Oh,
evil
shit.
millionaire Grimlord.
Fucking that name, Grimlord. So what happens is he's so pissed off at the teenagers making an after school program that he goes, forces of darkness and blah 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 blah, VR, give me the virtual world in which I rule, or some
Forces of digital darkness,
That's it.
virtualize me with your powers.
And he teleports to, see, I thought this was in a virtual world, but it's a real place, because they find the evil obstacle course later in the show.
So yeah, so I was kind of perplexed. I'm like, okay, so they're called VR troopers, but from what I've seen, this really has nothing to do with VR. They're out in the real world.
Which I'd prefer, right? What was that fucking French cartoon? Project Lyoko? Project Keiko?
Code Lyoko.
Code Lyoko. Wow. Code Lyoko, which you were very fond of.
I still have PTSD from watching that bullshit.
They actually go in a digital world there. This guy just teleports, but he's a big, like, he's like a mutant pig man, like warlord.
Yeah. The show is bookended by something that I found absolutely hilarious. The like lead guy, the like blonde dude.
Oh my god. Yeah, yeah.
The show is bookended with him like his hair like blowing in the wind.
He's walking forward with
like
the camera.
And like cheesy like inspirational music is like playing, and he's just like narrating.
So at the beginning, he's narrating and he's like, my dad always taught me to, like, then like whatever forgettable inspirational like line, right? You sent it to me. What was it?
Yeah, what was it?
My dad always taught me, where's that quote?
My father always taught me that obstacles are challenges to overcome. And then
what does that mean? See what I mean? Like,
and then
my dad always taught me that challenges are obstacles to overcome. We must be rivals. Like, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, and at the end of the episode, it does it again, and he's like, Dad, I'm gonna try my hardest to apply all of the important lessons you taught me to my day-to-day life, or like something like bullshit. Like it's like, so corny.
And we've also find out that he's missing his dad, and I'm gonna find you no matter what.
Yeah,
and it's so corny, but like not bad corny. I still think it's good corny. I kind of like that.
Okay.
The fucking wind machine on him, like blowing his like, hair as he's like walking forward. Fuck.
It just, to me, it seemed like something straight out of a soap opera to me.
It was pretty soap opera-ish. Speaking of soap opera, it opens up with the gang and their choreography, martial arts. As a kid, you think that's what martial arts looks like, but then as an adult and you watch this and you're like that took like a few days of choreography for them to like kick and do the spiral and like leg sweep and like jump, like, and you're like, that's not what karate is like in real life. And we meet the kid, the best actor on the episode. Do you see what I mean by these shows kind of feel dubbed?
So this kid is their martial arts master.
It's
I think
their
his name,
sensei's nephew
or something. Yeah, some relative of his. So he's been sent to stay there because he's a real couch potato. All he does is watch TV and play video games, and his parents just don't know what to do about it.
Just don't know what to do with him. And he shows up and he's like, Uncle, can you show me where the TV is so I can set up my my video game system or something like completely dry like that? And he's like, oh, see, like, I'll get to you in a second. And then
so I can set up my Nintendo Entertainment System control deck.
So I can set up my my video game console control deck. It's like it's something like that. And he's talking to the kids or whatever, and they already have blueprints of the obstacle course ready. And I'm like, what the fuck? Who went and where did you guys get those blueprints? You were just talking.
I know. So they
the...
so they come up with the idea to make this obstacle course specifically to inspire this kid to be more active, but they already have blueprints for it with them.
Amazing. Like, also, blueprints are for buildings. This is an obstacle course. Well, maybe you need blueprints for an obstacle course. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you could draw up a
spacing.
A plan.
You can draw a plan, but they're like professional blueprints.
Yeah, that they just that just materialize like out of nowhere.
Hey, they're good. They're good, man.
And so the Elon Musk, the evil like billionaire of
he
the
won't
show,
have it.
Grimlord finds out that they're making this obstacle course, and he gets all mad about this.
Oh my god, I laughed so much at the stupid premise of this episode. Go ahead.
It's a stupid premise.
I say that with love, but
this episode, yep.
Well, if they're gonna have what is it? The reason is all of his people are failing.
Yeah,
is because they're like, to put it shortly, my lord, they're practicing all the time. They're always ready for us. They're constantly honing their skills. Even now, as we speak, they're building an obstacle course.
Yeah, and he's like, those damn VR troopers. I will build my own. I will show them. I'll build my own obstacle course.
And all of you will compete so that whoever we could find out whoever the best of you is, and then I'll send the best of you.
Yeah,
the VR troopers.
And whichever one of you wins the honor of challenging the VR troopers. And I'm just like, lol.
That's super fucking dumb, but also I'm all here for it. And one of them steps. So I found out something. There are different factions of goons. There are mutants. Robots are like cyborgs, and insect guys. And
they're broken up into teams.
Yeah, so there's like the cyborgs are like the robots, the mutants, and then like the bug like people.
Yeah,
like I guess, and they have flags, but it's unclear why they have flags.
While the obstacle course is going on later, there's a scene where one of the monsters is like running, like waving like a flag in the air, and there's an overdubbed line where he's just like, I found a shortcut, and it reminded me like something out of the movie Kung Pao, Enter the Fist.
Okay, so the dialogue of a lot of this, I'm glad. Okay, the episode lingers mostly on the bad guys doing a Takeshi's Castle style, right? Like MXC.
MXC, yeah. There's a blast from the past right there.
There you go, yeah. Which is based on like Takeshi's Castle, right? There's new Takeshi's Castle on like Prime or something. Yeah. I liked it. Yeah, they booted it back up. It's fun. And like, there's this obstacle course. How do I get over? I can't jump. I know, I'll go around. And he runs into like an electric wire. Like one of them just shoots the wall down. Another, an insect con, like just flies over or jumps over or something.
Yeah.
The dialogue between all of them, man, good fucking job. Like that's what made this episode. All the dialogue, getting to see all of them interact. Like the robots, it's like, oh, that's what you get from just being a machine. There's like a weird bat mutant later on, and I really like their voice. I'll get them. It's good times. They also look very different from each other.
Yeah.
The only rule is there are no rules. But yeah, they're on a team, and whenever one of them goes down, the next one will like pick up their flag and like run forward.
Yeah, and so the little kid in the show, the couch potato, the titular character, if you will.
Yeah.
He likes the obstacle course idea like right away. He's like, "Oh, yeah." And
well, it's because they're like, how do we get him involved? Oh, I know. And they're like, hey, couch potato kid, what do you think kids would like? And it's like, well, what if you, and by the way, not only, I don't know if the kid's English is terrible or if he's just a terrible actor, but he like mumbles everything and slurs his like words. He's just like, oh, what if you put those barrels together and we jump over them? And they're like, that's a great idea, kid. Well, let's go do that. And he's like, yeah. So they immediately use like, it's like kid psychology to pull him into it.
And while Grimlord is giving his presidential address to all of his minions about the obstacle course, one warrior stands up and is like, I am Combax.
I don't need to train.
And then someone else is like,
take care of this.
Someone else is like, I am Combax. I am Combax. I am Combax.
No, I am Combax. And he's like, okay, fine. Tell you what, why don't you go and see if you can deal with the VR troopers? And he comes up with a dastardly plan.
He disguises himself as a little kid, and
this pissed me off.
Very creepily,
he comes out of the bushes as the little kid's like doing the obstacle course. Kid's cheating, by the way. One of his legs goes around the barrels, but whatever.
Yeah.
And he very creepily comes out of the bushes, doesn't say anything, and just
gestures with his hand to like come here. And this kid is like,
the kid not being taught not to does not pass the vibe check.
And this kid is way older than the other kids, so that makes it even creepier.
The couch potato kid's like 8. This kid's like 13.
Yeah.
Which makes it weird. And apparently nobody's taught this kid not to talk to strangers and not to follow strange kids beckoning you into the woods.
Yeah.
So his first instinct is to immediately chase after this creepy kid, beckoning him into the woods. Like that's how like ancient fae like steal your children, right? Like so he runs into the woods. He's like, where are you, kid? What's your name? And wouldn't you know it, it's Combax disguised as a kid.
Yeah. And he grabs him and he's like, haha, I got you, little
well, there's
fucker.
A putty fight. And that's when I realized the chick's got some cake.
Oh yeah, the chick on the team. Very cute.
They all fight this version of putties. I forgot the gimmick, and it reminded me I had actually caught the show when I was younger. The way you defeat these guys is you knock them into each other. Their version of putties. I can't remember what they're called.
Yeah.
And when they hit each other, they like electrocute each other and they phase out of like reality.
The chick on the team, the actress who plays her name is Sarah Joy Brown. She went on to have a pretty illustrious acting career.
Really?
She was in over 1,100 episodes of General Hospital for almost 20 years.
Shit.
Yeah. She's won a like fuck ton of daytime Emmy awards.
Huh. She'd be looking pretty good too.
Yep.
But yeah, there's scenes and there's some cake and thigh jiggle. I noticed, and I'm like, okay.
You're like, I'm tuning in next week, damn it.
I'm tuning in next week, god damn it. And what I like about these two is they're all just kind of smart, proactive like young adults. There's not one who just wants to go shopping. There's not one who like likes dancing, and there's not one who's like a dweeb and who's actually like very smart. Like you could say that differentiates them, and that like that's the point, right? But I kind of like that they're all just like people.
Yeah. They kind of come across as just like well-rounded, like everyday people.
Yeah, and like that's not a jab against Power Rangers, but I do like that it's different. It doesn't have to be all like, this is the girl, she's pink. Like the girl's like this red and white one in my background here.
Yeah.
Right. And other than the like the armor going out like slightly to represent like feminine like angles, they all kind of just look like rad fucking
titties,
like RoboCop dudes.
Yeah,
or not RoboCop dudes, like Dread kind of.
Yeah, or like kind of like Halo Spartans. Just
there
colorful.
we go. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah. If I had seen this show as a kid, I'm guessing the girl on this team probably would have been a big childhood crush for me.
I feel like I feel similar. Yeah.
A lot of people were all about Kimberly and Power Rangers. Personally, right? I was more into Aisha.
Me too, man. And what ends up happening? Oh, in the putty fight, Combax kidnaps Couch Potato Kid.
Yeah.
And they use him to lure them into a trap.
So he runs into a cave, and one of the VR troopers is all like, "It's troopin' time."
It's troopin' time. We find out briefly. We don't get a lot of scenes with him, but it looks like they talk to some. We need to call the professor.
Oh, right.
Who's Morpheus?
Yeah.
Did you? Let me VR trooper professor. Oh no! I just thought he was wearing sunglasses. He looks like a youth pastor. He looks like he's gonna bring me
Professor Horatio Hart.
Holy shit. And we don't get any details there, but he says, "Oh, it's time to transform and go after him."
Yes.
I thought he was wearing sunglasses from the. I watched it on YouTube, folks. It was. It may have been only slightly above like 180p.
So after Combax grabs the annoying kid and he runs into a cave with him, and one of the VR troopers is like, "It's troopin' time," and follows him into the cave. And when he's in the cave, he's like,
"There's so many caverns, I'm gonna get lost in here forever."
I don't know why this made me laugh, but like eventually he comes to the other side of the cave where the exit is. He's like, "Oh yeah, daylight. You're finished now, Combax."
There was no trap in the cave.
No.
Okay, so after they transform it's troopin' time, and they go into very cool a spaceship, a skyship, something, an aircraft carrier in the air.
A helicarrier.
A helicarrier. He shoots out in a motorcycle with a sidecar, but it's just him.
Yeah, and it's like a rocket cycle. I think he calls it, or something. It's like a rocket
cycle, and it can fly and go on the ground. I laughed when they pull up to the cave, and the bad guys are just driving black Jeeps, not like a specialized like vehicle or whatever. It's just a fucking black Jeep, and I'm like, yeah, that's what the bad guys drive. There was no point in luring him into the cave. He's like, "Oh man, I'm gonna get lost in here." The kid, who I swear did not have a camera up until the cave part,
I forgot about that. Yeah,
he didn't. I don't think he did. Photography pictures. Maybe he had it around his neck and I didn't notice. Right, and then he sees which cave to go down, and he's like, "Oh, good job, Couch Potato Kid. That's using your head." And he follows him, and then that's how he gets out of the cave. What was the point in Like, I like the line though. It's like, all right, daylight.
You're finished now,
Finish
Combax.
now, Combax. And I'm like, okay. Even funnier on the other side. Again, up till now, I thought that there was a virtual world and like maybe a real world. No, all of the bad guys are just doing the obstacle course
Yeah.
on the other side of this cave.
Yeah.
And Grimlord's like, good job. You lured one away from the others. Get them. Oh, we also find out the mutants won the obstacle course. The one that sounded like this, or I don't know. I like their voice. Like climbed up one of like the robot ones who had a grappling hook. What do I look like? An elevator going down, and he kicks him off. I like shows that just have fun like that. Maybe
Like I said, the like a lot of the stuff the villains say to me like sounds like, I don't know, it reminded me a lot of Kung Pao Enter the Fist, because like he'd take that movie, he takes footage from like a couple of old like kung fu movies, and he has characters doing odd thing, like who are just doing something like strange, and he'll just insert like really stupid dialogue
that was purposefully not synced to their mouth movements.
Yeah, there's one gag in that movie where a character, one character asks another one, he's like, oh, where's he going? And his mouth just starts moving. Like you can tell the guy is talking.
Over there.
And then he's like, I don't know.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
At the end of it.
I don't know. I should rewatch that.
It's on Disney Plus.
Nice. And I do get vibes of that here.
Yeah, that's. I found a shortcut. I found a shortcut.
And then is immediately like shot or something.
Yeah.
So the Red Ranger, the blue and red, the Blondie jumps up, right? And there are two guys up there surrounding
Daddy's boy.
Or three guys or something. Daddy's boy. And he fights them and he gets the kid back, but now he's surrounded. There's a mutant on each side of him. And one of them's like inside of like a tank, which I think is cool. It reminds me of a Protectron from Fallout. Flesh inside. And the other one's the bat, and they're like, we have you now surrounded. And I almost spit out my drink. He's like, hold on, couch potato kid. And he just jumps. He gets away by just jumping. And the camera just, like cuts from him doing the motion of jumping 400 feet away off the mountain, off the hill they are, and then going, huh. And I'm like, sure. Yeah. Okay. And Combax chases after them because they're far too far to follow. And I'm like, can't the bat fly? Didn't it show the bat fly early? Whatever. Don't think about it too much. You can never think about this genre of TV show for more than a few seconds. Just accept it. And there's a part where there's a bunch of traps, like Skyrim traps in the forest, and that Combax set up, or that was part of the obstacle course. And you know how he's like rolling out of the way of the spike, like the log spikes, and then like the trees shoot like shuriken at him, and there's a part where he's hung upside down because like a trap caught him, right? And he stops trying to deflect them all with his hands, and he just does this, and he just spins slowly, and they bounce off of him. The editor forgot to speed. It's supposed to look like he's spinning so fast that the shuriken are bouncing.
Oh, okay.
The editor forgot to do that, and the actor is just awkwardly hanging like this, spinning really slowly, and there are these foam shuriken.
I didn't even notice. I missed that.
These foam shuriken are just hitting the actor's head and like arms and chest. Oh, 10 out of 10. And then he's like, where do you think you're going? Instead of escaping, he chases down Combax. He can summon a lightsaber, but like Darth Maul's lightsaber specifically. And in the intro, it can grow super long. summon the laser lance or whatever the fuck
Yeah.
it's called, right? And he defeats Combax, and Combax is like, no, and that's it. And I'm like, weren't there like 30 bad guys like 100 feet away?
Yeah.
What? Remember they were on motorcycles and cars, and they were like cheering their buddies on
Yeah.
in the obstacle course, and they were just like, oh shucks, they got away, homies, go. No wonder you guys keep failing.
But remember, the whole point of the obstacle course was to win the right to fight
And that's
the VR
why the
troopers.
two on the top were the only ones to fight,
Yeah.
because they won the right.
It makes no sense, but
Oh, I don't even remember how this ends. Oh,
I-
the geek.
oh yeah. He
Nobody else is there except the rich dweeb
Yeah.
and the dog. And he's like, it seems everyone else chickened out.
Percival
And he's got
was his
like
name.
he's got like elbow pads and like a helmet, and he blows a whistle, and he's like, well, dog, it looks like all your friends chickened out. And the stop motion, not stop motion, like the freeze frame dog like blowing a raspberry at him happens, and I'm like, man, those look bad, but they're hilarious. It reminds me of Ed the Horse or whatever it was. You know how they like took footage and they just like,
Oh, Mr. Ed.
or Mr. Ed, yeah. That's what they do with the dog, but like it's worse somehow. So the kid runs the obstacle course by himself, and the camera follows as he fumbles through it and fails and does horribly. And I'm like, why is he doing this? He could cheat. Nobody's
Right.
here. Like nobody's recording him. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, like the show is, but like nobody's like paying attention to him in the show. But he's like struggling with this obstacle course. And at the very end, they're like, ha ha ha, everything ended up okay. The camera pans to him hanging by like a zip line area, like 30 feet above. Also, some of these obstacles are like 20, 30 feet high, like very dangerous.
Yeah.
Who's like belaying for this guy if he fell? Like who's got the safety like lines? I don't know. This feels very dangerous and not meant for kids. Just saying.
Right.
But then they all point and laugh because he's like stuck up in like the air, and he's like, "Somebody get me down from here!" And then their sensei like comes back and he's like, "Ha ha ha ha! I see you've taught my nephew the ways of staying active." And there's this corny part when they're still VR troopers where they're all like, "And remember, Couch Potato Kid, volunteer for like after school activities, read books, and don't forget to stay fit and try different sports. You never know what you might like, right?" And they all put in their hand, and I'm like,
Yeah, TV and video games are okay in moderation, but remember, you have to participate in after-school programs. Find a sport you enjoy to play. Go out and ride your bike with friends.
and remember, read a book at least once a week or something like that.
And don't forget to help control the pet population. Have your pets spayed or neutered.
VR troopers out. Have your
Oh, they do like a Woe Bundy at the end.
They do, yeah.
But except they're like VR troopers.
VR troopers.
But like the kid does it with them. I don't know.
The VR troopers must be famous in this world.
They must be, yeah. Well, I think that about does it for the episode. Cal, you just caught a random episode of VR Troopers. Would you tune in again?
I would.
Yeah.
Even though the episode felt like weird, I think, can't remember if we mentioned it on air, but like it kind of felt like filler to you.
Yes. This episode was like the epitome of a filler episode to me.
I feel like a lot of these shows of this genre feel like filler anyway.
Right.
Like none of them directly advance the plot anyway. But I thought this was hilarious. I would tune in next week.
I don't think I would.
Oh,
you
monster!
There wasn't enough here to to really grab me. I did laugh quite a few times. But unlike, say, in Big Bad Beetleborgs, where I laughed at the things I was supposed to laugh at,
fair.
This show, I was just laughing at things that they were trying to do, that they were doing with sincerity.
The dog talking fucking killed me.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Look, look out, we are troopers. The bad guys. That's fair, actually. That's a good point. Like, we laughed at the things you're supposed to laugh at. Still laughing because they're dumb, but we're supposed to laugh at them in Big Bad Beetleborgs. This was like laughing at the production.
Yeah. This was
or the acting.
In Big Bad Beetleborgs, you're laughing with the show. In VR Troopers, you're kind of laughing at it.
Well said.
So, yeah, no, I can't, unfortunately.
Well,
and, well, that was episode 112 of the Lazor Comb podcast. If you want to support the show, go to patreon.com/lazorcomb, LAZORCOMB. Starting at the $5 tier, you get our bonus weekly Patreon exclusive podcast, the Super Lazor Comb Patreon Super Show. At the $10 tier, you get that, the occasional commentary track, and you get the ability to pick a show for us to review a random episode of on this very podcast. So if you want to get in on all of that, go to patreon.com/lazorcomb. Follow us on Blue Sky and TikTok, links in the description. Join the Discord if you want to interact with us. Link for that in the description as well.
Pretty much like the only social thing I use.
Yeah. I post on Blue Sky every now and then and interact with some people on there. And
when I remember it exists, I do.
It's definitely picked up a lot now, now that it's not invite only. Mm-hmm. And now that Twitter has become a complete cesspool, a lot of people have
bots and
flocked to Blue Sky.
Yeah.
We will be back in a couple of weeks, not next week because I'm going out of town. We'll be back in a couple of weeks where we're going to round out this programming block of Tokusatsu.
Tokoyami?
Tatanka. Base shows with Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad.
Oh, shit.
Now, to figure out what episode of Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad we're going to watch, I'm going to hit screen share. As always, share. How many episodes did Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad have?
Go VR Troopers.
Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad has such a good theme song. 53 episodes, okay. Ooh. So one random number between 1 and 53, and here we go. Where it stops. Well, now we know it stopped on 25.
25.
Rock and roll viruside. A rock and roll virus is created to turn Mr. Starkey into a heavy rock and roll maniac when Malcolm sends it into her tape player.
Wait, what? A rock and roll virus is created to turn Mrs. Starkey into a heavy rock and roll maniac? Oh, I'm fucking all about this.
Yeah, I'm on board with this already. So we'll be back in a couple of weeks' time with that. And until then, I have been Christopher Siege, one of your hosts.
And, would you morph me? I'd morph me. I'd morph me hard.
Goodbye, horses.
Goodbye, horses.
I'm flying over you. Bye-bye.